Golly. We're back. Zero pettifoggery, sir. Absolutely crazy story. The phone that I'm recording this on right now is a new phone I've gotten through insurance. My previous phone started acting up, to say the least. Battery started dying, memory started scrambling. I recorded a couple of videos in order to make an episode, and then the phone became really unreliable. So I got stuck in a circumstance where I had recorded some stuff for you, wanted to send it out, and then of course, you can get caught up. In the meantime, I don't know that everybody saw. I was live on Facebook for it, but I did get married, and so been a little busy to say the least. But coming this week, I got an episode for you, and I got some good information because luckily I was able to recover those videos that I've recorded for you guys. So they're going to say July, which is kind of funny, right around my birthday, but, better summer times, but, we'll do what we can. So what you got coming your way is the state of New Jersey versus Green, and a decision by the appellate court regarding a prosecutor's overpromise in an opening statement. Interestingly enough, the prosecutor comes before the jury and essentially says, you're going to hear testimony from this person. It was actually the defendant's grandmother who is going to testify, and no surprise, Grandma wasn't going to give it up. So you'll hear about that case in that clip. Second clip, 7-Eleven clerk beaten and pistol whipped and shot, left for dead. Extraordinary athlete, a terrible story, and unfortunately it doesn't have a happy ending. He has since recovered. He was in a coma, and he has since recovered, and he has become a Paralympic athlete. But his case doesn't turn out so well with, for lack of a better term, trying to get his injuries paid for by 7-Eleven. So unfortunately, another big corporation gets out with no responsibility. Then I got lawyers behaving badly. We have political corruption at its best. A lawyer soliciting donations in order to make a contribution to a political candidate in terms of a quid pro quo, pretty much, for her and her firm to be able to represent the township of Mount Olive or the township of Bloomfield for legal services. So you can see about that. And then last but not least, Marauding for Your Ears, a podcast that I really enjoyed back in July, and I'll certainly have new ones coming your way. This one is called The Score. It is the bank robber Diaries. It tells the story of a bank robber by the name of Joe Loya, who, it's just an incredible story. And I don't want to give up too much because listening to it, you're kind of hanging on cliff by cliff. So check that out wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Republic. And I am back, so you will have zero pettifoggery. I know you've been having some pettifoggery, but I am back, and looking forward to getting you guys some more episodes. Talk soon. Thanks. Hey guys, Monday, July 13th, about 10:30 p.m. Wanted to give you guys a quick update. New Jersey Supreme Court Justice Barry Albin issued a decision in the case of State versus Green. Essentially, the ruling is, as Justice Albin says, is a cautionary tale against prosecutors for lack of a better term, over-promising in their opening statements. In this particular case, a murder case, over-promising in their opening statements about expected testimony. In this particular case, one of the defendants was alleged to have confessed the murder to his grandmother. And the prosecutor, notably in good faith, went up to trial and in front of the jury and explained that exact circumstance. In the prosecutor's explanation, he or she promised that the defendant's grandmother would be testifying, which, to no surprise to many, the grandmother recanted that testimony and refused to testify, and actually invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. So this case, the defendant ends up getting convicted, and it goes to the appellate court, and it's challenged all the way up. And essentially, the justice says, it is well understood that the defendant's own confession is probably the most probative and damaging evidence that can be admitted against him. A confession made to one's grandmother may have even greater persuasive power than one made to the police, despite the trial court's best efforts to provide a curative instruction. So the trial court judge decided to allow that statement to stay, gave a curative instruction saying, listen, don't listen to the prosecutor regarding this situation. This is what's happening, yada, yada, yada. And prosecutor also argued that, listen, I've done this in good faith. But it's a fact of the matter that essentially you can't unring that bell once you hear that, and it certainly would prejudice a jury, and that's what led to his murder conviction being overturned. So for some of you Law and Order or Suits watchers, some people are a little interested in the criminal aspect or legal dramas, and for our criminal defense attorneys, it's a pretty interesting case. So I'll have some more soon. Thanks. Hey everybody, July 16th, about 2 a.m., quick update. Claims by a gentleman by the name of Adil Boutahli, plaintiff, and in this circumstance, a clerk at a 7-Eleven in South Jersey, have been rejected by a federal judge against 7-Eleven, the organization, the corporation, because the judge essentially determined and made the holding that the 7-Eleven is not responsible for injuries caused to the plaintiff. Pretty tough story to read. This gentleman, back in January of 2014, he had previously played goalie for the New Jersey Rangers soccer team in the developmental league. Very talented athlete as far as they can tell. Was working as a store clerk, and during a robbery attempt was pistol whipped and shot multiple times, left for dead. Thankfully survived. He was in a coma for multiple weeks following the incident and was left paralyzed. Shortly after his recovery, like I said, extraordinary athlete, becomes one of the premier and one of the best in the nation in wheelchair tennis. So kind of tough story to see this kind of talent and this kind of athleticism, this kind of promise kind of snuffed out. But his claims against 7-Eleven were not successful. He was making an effort to show that 7-Eleven would be responsible for the day-to-day operations or the security of the store, the people in the store, especially the clerks in the store. And unfortunately that was rejected, and that decision came down on June 18th. Pretty interesting case. If you want to read about it, feel free to reach out to me and ask some questions. So tough to read, but interesting case. Thanks. Hey guys, July 21st, about 9 p.m. Rocking my good old Tottenham Hotspur jersey. Pretty psyched about the end of the Premier League season. Hopefully we end up rising into the Europa League, but I guess we'll see what happens. Quick update, lawyers behaving badly, as they usually do, I guess. Morristown lawyer Elizabeth, I'm going to screw this up, Vallandingham, young lady, an attorney, previous partner at O'Donnell McCord, a law firm in Morristown. She's being brought up on charges, second-degree false representation for government contracts and second-degree misconduct of a corporate officer. She essentially recruited friends and family members to act as straw donors, people who would make political contributions and subsequently be reimbursed in cash by the firm for those contributions, in an attempt to get a award of a contract for legal services providing to the township of Mount Olive and the township of Bloomfield. Between 2012 and 2017, Bloomingdale awarded the firm contracts for legal services valued at approximately $120,000, and in 2016 she submitted a proposal for legal services to Mount Arlington for a contract, and essentially she was getting awarded a contract for approximately $470,000 worth of legal services. And she made a handful of donations to Mount Arlington officials at the time. The allegations go towards former Mount Arlington Councilman John Windish. They go also at John Cesaro, former Morris County freeholder and Mount Arlington Councilman. Mary Doherty, the Morristown Mayor Tim Doherty, who once ran for a Morris freeholder position, and Jason O'Donnell, an ex-state assemblyman and Bayonne mayor hopeful, as well as a Jersey City Board of Education president, Sudhan Thomas. The state also said that this attorney's conduct is not directly related to the bribery allegations of the other defendants, but they are saying essentially that she was making political contributions in order to get a return on some of these contracts for legal services. So, like always, lawyers behaving badly, stay away from those. That's the type of pettifoggery we're not talking about. Hey guys, July 29th, about midnight, quick update. Marauding for Your Ears is a podcast, and this was a very enjoyable one for me. The Score, the bank robber diaries, talks about the bank robberies of a gentleman by the name of Joe Loya. Calls himself the Beirut Bandit. Tells the story of his unfortunate and abusive childhood. Goes into being a violent ex-con, bank robber, and then a reconciled son. Very interesting, actually, because he's involved in the podcast and tells a lot of stories, gives his point of view on things, and he is actually a novelist at the same time right now, so pretty interesting stuff. And double-sided for this one, Netflix series, Fear the City. Very short, quick hitter. I think it was 3-4 episodes, all about the mob and in New York City, documentary style, going through the different families and some of the tactics, some of the things that they went through and how they run their businesses, and then their eventual takedown by Rudy Giuliani, funny enough. So interesting stuff. Go check it out. Thanks.